Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Storm Postgame Report. I know it's been quite a while since I was able to do one of these. Still hoping, who knows by the time that the game three comes around, because game three is on Thursday. But would like to get a podcast together with Rowan. If you know Rowan, Rowan does our Storm Roundtable with us. It's me and Rowan since it's down to us two. But massive game tonight. Obviously, my ears are still ringing from Climate Pledge Arena. An 86 to 83 win for our Seattle Storm on home court in game two of this first round series, this first round WNBA playoff series against the Las Vegas Aces. The Aces have that winning streak snapped. When the Storm come in and get the big victory to stave off elimination and force that, decisive game three down in Vegas on Thursday at 6:30. You know, Vegas's win streak ends at 17 games, which is still pretty remarkable. Um, but obviously this was pretty big. This was pretty big. There's a lot riding on it. We've talked about it on our Storm podcasts and our post game reports about what's in stake, what's on the line for head coach Noel Quinn, and this staff that has been through Sue Bird's final year, couldn't get the job done in terms of a title. Obviously, 23 was tough, considering the deficiency in talent. Last year, not being able to get it done. With that group this year having, probably the best total all around roster. Um, that this group has had, and seeing the inconsistencies, seeing the struggles that this team has had, beating the best teams in the league, pretty consistently, but then struggling against some of the worst teams in the league. So there's a lot riding on it, on this game. This do or die game. The Storm lose this game, the season's over, and then we go to this off season where there's so much that's up in the air. But the season will last at least another game. Massive, massive fourth quarter for the Storm. They finish on a 16-4 run. They rally from 9 points down with less than 5 minutes to play in that fourth quarter. Skylar Diggins, huge in this game, 15 points in the second quarter after kind of a tough start in the beginning of the game. Playoff career high 26 points. Nneka Ogwumike, who was our key player to watch, if you'll follow us on social media, had a double double, 24 points, 10 boards. Dominique Malonga, second straight playoff double double, 11 points, 10 rebounds, the go ahead and one. Puts, wait. I could be remembering that wrong. Nope. The tying and then tying bucket and then the free throw to put Seattle ahead by one. Skylar Diggins had the 10-foot jump shot. Yep, I'll put that clip in there to ice the game effectively. Sorry, totally lost that there. Yeah, Erica Wheeler, 11 points. All of them come in the fourth quarter, which is pretty remarkable. Um, yeah, Seattle was down by double digits early into the fourth quarter. I think it was 75-63 around the 7 minute mark to play. Seattle only gave up 8 points the rest of the way against Las Vegas, and they kept A'ja Wilson completely off the board during that span. And a good amount of it was with rookie Dominique Malonga on A'ja Wilson. There was a few stretches late. I was watching. It's funny. Sports Center is going to have this game in the bottom corner. Um, where Dom wasn't backing down. I mean, this is A'ja Wilson, who's probably going to win another MVP award when things are all said and done. Uh, Going up against, this is a 19-year-old going up against the best player in the world.
Coach, I know last post game you talked about needing everybody in that sort of regard. Dom's obviously such an X factor for this team, and we've talked about her having grow up games. Do you need her to grow up anymore in this playoff series? Considering, as you mentioned, you need everybody.
We do. Some, initial bunnies were missed as well. A lot of our missed layups turned into their first pass of their transition. So when we're in the paint, we have to be efficient. We have to kind of settle in, have poise, pump fake, finish those layups. But yeah, Dom, if she gets those same looks tonight, I know she's going to be very efficient. Defensively, she has a tall task in defending Asia, and these are the moments that, yeah, we're gonna need her mightily, her offense and her defensive presence.
Um, and didn't back down, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, they're showing this run right here. Just pretty incredible poise from Dom late. Erica Wheeler with some big shots, that big three-pointer late, to bring Seattle within two at that point. Uh, Skylar, easy little midi right there. Uh, yeah, now an 11-4 run. We're just gonna watch this together. Dom, great defense on Asia. And then Skylar finds Dom streaking. I'm really surprised that she was able to get through there. Dom goes up for the layup, gets the and one. Everybody's hyped. She sinks the free throw, which wasn't a given. Yeah, Las Vegas was going to run this little backdoor cut for Jackie Young. Completely throws the ball away, and this allows for Seattle to ice it. Skylar Diggins, contested shot. Jackie Young in her face, nails a little midi. Stone cold. No reaction whatsoever out of Skylar. Uh, you know, she knew something was there. And then Jewel Lloyd, of all people, Jewel Lloyd had hit a few three-pointers early into this one to get things started. She has the potential game-tying three. She has space. She's technically wide open. She misses it. Yeah, Skylar becomes the second player in Storm history with 25 points and 5 assists in a playoff game behind only Brianna Stewart. Um, Pretty remarkable late run. I've done this before in talking about a few of these games, um, particularly the Storm games, but there is nothing like, and there was another sold out crowd tonight, nothing like Climate Pledge Arena getting loud. I say that, and that's about, um, I can say that about T-Mobile Park when it gets loud. I can say that about, Kraken games at Climate Pleasure and they get loud, say those Storm games. But it's remarkable. We're sitting there in that fourth quarter while that run is going on. And I'm like, this place is rocking. It's loud. Again, my ears are still ringing actively as it's 11:05 at night now.
Yeah, I spoke about it on the floor. I mean, we were yelling, like my throat is like I was yelling all night at them because it was so loud in here I couldn't hear myself. And that's the atmosphere that they've had all year for us, regardless how we play. I mean, maybe the past 26 years seasons. But this city has always been very supportive, and they've been very supportive of us this year. And that's why we were very concentrated on the type of effort that we wanted to come out with tonight. And obviously our goal is to get back here for another home game. But definitely the Storm Crazies have been, very supportive of us all year. And in the biggest moment where we needed them to be, they were the loudest. And so we appreciate everybody that supported us. And, we wish we could bottle that up and take some of that on the road with us.
Um, it's pretty incredible. Yeah, 23-8 run in the final 7 minutes, 22% shooting from the field for Las Vegas, 64% in that span for the Storm. They make three three-pointers in that one there. Um, just such a huge comeback. It for a good amount of it, it seemed like the Storm were going to go quietly into the night. They were going to end things as SportsCenter is showing they were going to have their losing streak in the playoffs to Las Vegas pushed to 7 games. They snap it at 6 instead. Um, you just looking briefly at the box score, and we'll talk about a few of these players. What I see here is your two best players in Skylar Diggins and Nneka Ogwumike showing up, and two bench players in two very different stages of their career. Dominique Malonga just beginning, what should be a massive career for her in the WNBA, and hopefully, leading the Storm into a new dynasty era. We had to get to that point. It would require a few more titles. Um, and Erica Wheeler, who came on as a training camp contract, and has been big. Started for Seattle at a time, has come off the bench now a few times. Just it those are a few of the stories for the Storm this year. Is your two best players, Skylar Diggins and Nneka Ogwumike, leading the way, um, and the development of Dominique Malonga and how Erica Wheeler has come along for you throughout the course of the year. So, yeah, Seattle really had the three ball going in this one, 10 for 20 from beyond the arc, 50%. Um, Las Vegas, not so much, 7 of 19, 36% from the field. Um, Largely Jewel, three pointers made, 3 of 7 off the bench for the Aces in this one. Not a lot going on. Jackie Young, 1 for 6 from three. Noel Quinn talked pregame about, it was a question about guarding Asia Wilson, but it was um, how do you guard Asia? And it's, part of the answer was making sure the others, the other players on this roster for Las Vegas don't go off, you know. So I mean, they did a pretty decent job of that. They go from the largest loss in franchise playoff history to the second largest comeback in franchise playoff history. Um, 25-point loss and a 14-point comeback. Uh, Really, the only other player that really went off was Jackie Young. Yeah, Jackie Young's a killer. I mean, 25 points, 8 for 17 from the field. The big discrepancy, though, to note was the free throw shooting. 20 of 29 from the charity stripe tonight excuse me, for the Aces. The person who shot the most, unsurprisingly, is Asia Wilson, but she only went 6 for 11 from the free throw line in this one. You want to talk about home court advantage? Climate Pledge was loud, man. It was really loud, as you can't tell from the amount of times I've referenced how my ears continue to ring. Um, but yeah, largely, I mean, the only other player in double figures was Jewel, and that's largely aided by the three pointers that she made pretty early on. Um, yeah, no, also pretty cool to see the Storm win the rebound battle in this one, 32 to 29. So often, if you've been following this team the last few years, you've like probably seen the box score and seen Seattle get out rebound, or even just seen it in the game, of course, and been like, wow, that's an issue. Pretty big, in a game that, either you keep your season going or it ends here, to win in that regard. Seattle wins the fast break points. They were able to get out and run. We always talk about Seattle getting out and running. They were able to win that by a 12-point margin. 16 fast break points for the Storm, for the Aces in this one. So see if there are other discrepancies here that I was noting. The turnovers were a big thing that I noticed. Yeah, 15 turnovers for Las Vegas, 18 points off of them, 10 for Seattle, 11 off of them. Seattle, they've got the defensive pieces and Skylar, Brittany Sykes, Gabby Williams. Esdy Magbagor had some big blocks in this one. The focus is going to be on Dom Malonga, and she had a great performance. And there was even a question post game, interesting, about about if Noel Quinn had considered, swapping Dom and Ezzy in the starting lineup, and she said, "Well, no, I'm not going to give you that because that would be telling you the game plan," which is totally fair. But I also don't think, swapping them out's the biggest thing. Yes, Dom did a pretty good job down the stretch guarding Asia. She's not scared. We've seen that throughout the course of the year. Um, we've talked about um, we've talked about how she has shown no fear, which is true. She's shown no fear against some of the best players in the league. Uh, you know, but also uh, she's had her moments at times. She did get into foul trouble. Like I will say, in my totally unbiased opinion, some of those foul calls were pretty interesting. Not sure I'd agree with them. Uh, you know, but but yeah, no, I would rather see Malonga and Magagor on the court at the same time. We've talked about that before in podcasts and on the show. Goodness gracious. Sorry, I got to sneeze now. Just Ezzy's defensive play and her presence in the paint is too valuable for Seattle to just completely swap them and have her come off the bench. We did see some early strong game from Ezzy, nice pick and pop. some pretty big blocks in this one. Excuse me. Even had a steal, uh, and tallied 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Ezzy, she's just been pretty disrespected. Um, it's a lot of the little things that we see with her. Um, I find it so disrespectful to think that you can switch, and just have it be normal. Dom's gonna, get to the sort. I'm sure she'll become a great defensive player, but she's still young. She's still very raw. She's learning. Don't get me wrong. I've seen it, like everyone who's been around the team every game has. Um, but you know, it's I get tired of that notion. Um, that you just flip them. I don't think that's the case. I think you could certainly move. I would go with Skylar, Gabby, Nneka, Dom, Ezzy 5 if you're gonna do that. Um, if you're going to do that, let's flip that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree flipping them there. And even though the Storm postgame email here from the PR team lists her as a center, Noel Quinn is so often referred to Dominique Malonga as a forward, and that's they were going to treat her as a forward. Obviously, when you're playing the Aces and you're playing Asia Wilson, you're effectively, playing one big against Asia, and they're playing small. So sure, that would work in this regard, but I don't know. It's interesting. I think those two are so young and so talented that in Ezzy and Dom that you'd play them together as opposed to just swapping them one for one. So, and that's not to take away from either of them. Coach Quinn, I think, said it best in terms of guarding Asia. A lot of that was Dom being in Wilson's space and utilizing her length. Those possessions, it's Ezzy and Nneka and Dom going one on one, utilizing their length and physicality. Excuse me, a player as great as Asia, you try to make it as difficult as possible, and I thought the group did that. So yeah, no. Um, it was pretty cool to see though. I mean, I did ask Coach Quinn pregame. I said, "Hey, we've talked a few times about Dom and her growth. Last post game, Coach Quinn talked about needing everybody, right? I think she was answering a question about Brittany Sykes not having a great game, and she said we need everybody, and that not only that includes Dom, that includes Brittany, includes Erica Wheeler. So, they got that today. I wanted to ask about a post game, didn't get to do that. Instead, asked about Erica. I think I'll put that in there. Um, so no, it was a pretty cool. Um, yeah, I'm gonna remember this game for a long time. Good start for Seattle. They looked a lot more focused on both ends of the court. Um, they didn't close the first quarter out great. If I remember correctly, the Aces used a 9-0 run to kind of give themselves that lead. Only trailed by one out of the first quarter and then out of the half. Um, Vegas led by 8 with about a minute and a half or so left in the first half before Seattle ended things on a 7-0 run, which was pretty fun. Um, Skylar had that big second quarter. Yeah, Nneka, had led things initially, but Skylar has the big second quarter to lead. Drew had 9 points off the bench in the first half. So yeah, most of her damage was done in that first half. Jackie Young kind of took over the third quarter, 12 points in the third. Uh, 14 points of her 18 going into the fourth were in that third quarter. Uh, so that was pretty remarkable. Um, see what else we got. Yeah, oh, yeah. No, the defensive intensity was so big because obviously the game just kind of went haywire in game one right away. Uh, Seattle didn't allow that to happen. They shot pretty good from the field in the first quarter, 44.4%, 50% from three, forced 5 turnovers in the first 10 minutes. Skylar has the big second quarter. Um, Nneka has 11 of Seattle's 17 points in the third. They had that tough third quarter led by, Jackie Young. It was the Jackie Young quarter. We had the Skylar Diggins quarter, then we had the Jackie Young quarter. Um, and then that fourth was just pretty insane. I think Seattle made their last seven shot attempts as we go into the fourth. Skylar was big. She took over in this one. Top dog does top dog things. Yeah, Skylar bucket. Erica Wheeler jump shot, Erica Wheeler jump shot, Skylar three, Erica three, Erica free throw. Oh yeah, because Chelsea Gray took the transition foul. Yep. So Erica Wheeler hit that big three to pull Seattle within three. Erica Wheeler takes a free throw on the transition take foul by Chelsea Gray to pull it within two. Um, Jackie Young makes this tough reverse 2-point shot. Erica Wheeler gets the foul, puts the Aces advantage back up to five. Erica Wheeler says, I got it. I'm going to get it back. Gets the 2-pointer, so not necessarily back.
Coach, to speak about someone else who had some big shots down the stretch, Erica Wheeler made some
Yeah.
big buckets down there. Just can you speak to her performance late in this one? Obviously, she's made some big baskets for you.
Yeah, she showed a lot of resiliency because she had a goose egg for a little bit. And, to come and hit a big three and to come and, find her sweet spot, get to her kill spot, but also what she's doing defensively. I don't think is talked about enough. Defending, all of their perimeter players, being in their space, being physical, getting through screens. I think that when she can provide things that she provided tonight, we are also it gives us another scorer, it gives us another defensive presence, and I thought she did an excellent job of bouncing back and having mental fortitude to give us what we needed.
Jewel Lloyd makes one free throw to make it a 4-point advantage for the Aces. Skylar Diggins hits this 2-point shot. Dominique Malonga gets the and one at this point to tie it, hits the and one to make it a 1-point lead for Seattle. Yeah, Chelsea Gray on the inbound turns it over, throws it away on the backdoor play. Storm take their timeout. Skylar Diggins, Nneka Ogwumike, Skylar Diggins effectively rush the clock out, run the clock down, and Skylar hits that tough shot with Jackie Young in her face.
I think Nate got the rebound on that play and kicked it up. And I just saw Dom streaking, so I just threw it up to the basket. Nice catch and tough finish by her. I'm really impressed by the free throw. That's a big moment by a 19-year-old to have to go in there. We've been asking a lot from her all year. We always make fun that she's the youngest player to do whatever in a game, but it's really historic what she's been doing at her age in this league, her poise, and that was a big play for us. And then anytime I'm in a two-woman game with this person right here, I feel really confident. I thought they were going to foul, so I just let Nneka keep holding the ball. It was like a 3 or 4 second differential in the shot clock and game clock, and they didn't foul, and we got into our game. I saw open in there, and took my chance, and so everybody made big shots all night and big plays for us. Though it just kind of came down to that, and a team that probably don't think they're going to lose and haven't lost in a long time. It came down to a close game situation. We were able to close that last 7 minutes out. I think it was 23-7. So it was a big plays in the fourth quarter, especially going into the quarter down.
Jewel Lloyd misses a potential game-tying three-pointer. Bedlam ensues. It's loud. A sold-out Climate Pledge Arena. That's playoff basketball, man. That's what the Storm have been built on for so long. What's made them, Seattle's always supported their women's sports teams, obviously, particularly with the Storm here. Uh, and it's always really cool and special to be at, a game like this, right? It was kind of interesting. The Las Vegas players that they had for post game, Jewel Lloyd and Kirsten Bell, were in and out before most of the media even got to the post game room. They certainly didn't take the 10-minute cooldown period that normally they take, which I thought was kind of interesting. I walked in and I think I was saying, so, oh, I think I was making the comment. Uh, uh, Someone complaining to me about that. Um, Hmm. Yeah, folks in Seattle are very excited. Hell yeah, man. Where was I? Goodness gracious. Uh, I was coming in talking about how many years we're ringing, and Kirsten Bell was answering a question. I was like, oh shit. Um, so I don't know. It's just I've talked so often about how incredible it will be to watch Dominique Malonga grow game by game. Um, and we've seen that, and we've gotten to that now, where she's making these important uh where they're making these big she's making these big plays. She's making these impacts. Nneka Ogwumike is leading the way for most of this game. 24 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Um, she's just so cool, calm, and collected. 4 of 5 from three in this one. Just smooth, reliable. Just it's. I've said this before last season, and I say it again. It is a privilege to watch Nneka Ogwumike play basketball in a Storm uniform. And Skylar Diggins, who hasn't necessarily had the greatest shooting games down the stretch, had a pretty big game here offensively. Had not game. Oops, looks like my microphone switch. I don't think that's the case. Perfect. Okay. 26 points. Um, 26 points, 7 assists, 1 rebound, 2 steals, 1 blocked shot. It's pretty remarkable again for a player that's 5'9" to record as many blocks as Skylar Diggins does. Uh, not the biggest games from the supporting cast. Gabby Williams 2 for 8 in this one, 2 free throws, six points for Gabby, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal. Brittany Sykes 2 for 6, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Um, yeah, and Izzy 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, as I mentioned, uh, 2 blocks, 1 steal. Um, we've already talked about the games that Dom and Erica have had, but you know, I think Becky Hammond said it pregame. You want to, if you were Vegas, you want to finish the series now because a game 3 can mean anything, right? Anything can happen in a game 3. It's a game 3 now. You have to go back to Las Vegas, yes, but with this sort of game that you had, if you're Seattle, you get the big boost from Dom. You get Erica to have this huge surge late. You get this big performance from your point guard and Skylar Diggins, right? Your leader. Um, that's big. And I'm not saying it's going to take the wind out of the sails of the Aces, but you just had your 17-game win streak snapped. You, again, for most of this game, looked like you were going to close it out and move on to the next round and maybe get a little rest ahead of the next opponents you were going to face. Not the case. Seattle has upset that. Hey, they've Seattle has played really well against contenders all year long. They've shown they can beat the best. I don't know. Feel good about Thursday. Yeah, I hope you appreciated the Storm postgame report here. Some of it's rambling. A lot of it's just, especially with these postgame reports, when it's myself alone like this, it's usually just talking through everything that I thought throughout the course of the game. So I hope you appreciate it. I know we've got a few folks who um, tell me they really appreciate our show. Shout out to Greg, who works at the stadium, Lori, who follows us, and always is really nice to see me. Ellen, who I've met at UW women's games, Mariner games. There was a fan today um, who, as I was going into the tunnel to go back into the media room, said, "Charles, I love your work." Um, I'm sorry. it's been a tough year. Um, Tough 2 months too. Uh, and so that means a lot. Um, and I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do these as much. I know at the beginning of the season we were doing pretty good. We were doing them every game. I was doing them at times in the Mariners press box. Um, but losing Christian, however you felt about him, it's another contributor to our Storm content hurt. Rowan, moving away makes things difficult. Um, this hasn't been our best year at CSS for Storm coverage, but hey, the season's continuing. We can only do it. We can only do our best. So I appreciate it. I really do. If you turn into these, I know we've got a few folks who consistently comment on them and look forward to them. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I believe Lee is in there. Lee's always commenting. I think it's Lee Nelson. Um, so yeah, man. Sorry for crying on you, but this is what I do it for. Is the folks who tell me they love having that. You know, Games like this are what you do it for. You go through the slog of the regular season to have the atmosphere that you'll be thinking about deep into the off season when you miss Storm basketball. Yeah, but you probably won't be too worried about a lot in the off season because there's going to be so much happening with all those free agents and the Storm draft picks. I think yeah, I should look at that actually because that was something I wanted to talk about uh in a post game report. Yeah, Seattle has the Sparks pick, which at this moment, and according to Tankathon, would end up as the third overall pick. So, and they've got the Aces pick, which is 14th right now, so not too great, but uh, yeah, I don't know. It's the Storm are in such an interesting situation right now. Have been for quite some time. So anyway, I hope you appreciate the Storm post game report. I'm sorry for crying on you. Should be doing one for Thursday's game. Until we see you next time, take care of yourselves, be well, and do whatever you can to make today a great day. Love you. See you soon.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, where are you going to watch the Seattle Storm away games this year?
Away games. Well, Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports. So I was thinking of coming here if that's okay with you.
I think that makes a lot of sense. See you all here.